missed out in the beginning. So, all right. So I'm just gonna get. Ooh, I just lost the screen. I'm gonna get started right now. Um, Alrighty, hold on a second. Okay, so the pre-convention workshop. So the purpose of this, obviously, like I said, Eileen thought it would be a great idea for me to give you guys a presentation on the convention, what to expect, and some of the feedback that I have from my first two experiences. My first time at the convention, I went in the summer of 2013 in Washington, D.C. And that experience was really, really exciting for me just because it was the first time where I was not only in a networking type of environment, but it was my first time just being in a convention and being in a conference where it's an entire group of like Latino professionals. So it was really exciting for me to just be in a community where everyone it has the same background as me. So um, with that said, before I went to the convention, I was not even at Baruch College. I first found out about Alpha when I did a little bit of research on Google, where I kind of wanted to get a sense of the kind of organizations that are in place at Baruch College. And at first, I knew that I wanted to be in, like I said, in a Latino community with an interest in business. So I did a Google search on Latino students, business, and Alpha came up. So from there, I decided to do more research on Alpha and um, was able to get in contact with, at the time, Friendly was the president. Um, so I knew that like I said, I wanted to get involved. So there was like this event, an Alpha New York event. Some of you guys went to it this year. It was called the Unwritten Rules for Success with Morgan Stanley. And it was a really, really good experience because it was the first time I kind of like went to a workshop, and it was with Alpha. So from there, I asked Friendly at the time that I really wanted to go to the convention. I just didn't know anyone in Baruch. I was not even in the school yet. Um, but I still wanted to be able to connect with Baruch students. So from there, he gave me advice as to how to go about it, and I was able to room at the time with Lena and another Baruch student. Her name is Stephanie. And then from there, I kind of just kind of met other Baruch students, and it was all because of the convention. So I really highly recommend everyone, for those who's never been to the convention, just kind of, if you can, just go by yourself. Do wander around, just because I learned more about myself. I learned more about Alpha. I learned more about everything because I went out of my way, um, and just did everything on my own. I made sure that I didn't hang out a lot with the Baruch students at the time because I knew that I could always hang out with them after the convention. So, with that said, hello? Did did I lose you guys? Okay, no, I
No.
didn't. Okay, I just want to make sure. All right, so with that said, yeah, so like it, do not go, just try to make sure to not stay in circles, because I really got a lot out of it just going on my own. So with that said, welcome all of you guys who just joined us. I'm not 100% sure, everyone that's in this hangout, but as long as you guys could hear me and could see this presentation, that's really good enough. So with that said, um, I'll start out with the agenda. So I'm first going to start out with resume. Obviously, most of you guys have sent me your resumes, and I took a good look over it and gave you guys feedback, and I've seen a lot of improvements. I see you guys really taking my feedback and just try to do the best of it. So I really appreciate the time that you guys take in, you know, and taking my comments and trying to improve yourselves, because not only do I learn from you guys learn from me as well. And then I'm gonna go with cover letter. I'm sure a lot of you guys already have a cover letter prepared, but there was some things that I could go over with you guys, and hopefully you guys can get a good understanding on how to construct one. Then going to go over networking, which is a portion that was touched upon at the pre-convention through Lisa Ortiz. Excuse me, not Lisa, but it was the first guy that spoke. I believe his name was Juan. He's like the president of the New York chapter or the student operations student chapter. I'm not 200% sure, but he went over networking, and I'll kind of touch upon that as well. And then we're going to go through interviews, what to wear, what not to wear, my experience, and some strategies that you guys could go around the convention. All right. So with that said, we'll start out with resume. This is going to be really brief, just because I feel like you guys really did well on the resume. Um, yeah, okay. Thanks for whoever muted that, because I didn't want you guys to lose me. So with that said, the resume obviously is a personal sales brochure. It illustrates who you are, what you've done, and what you can do. Um, like I said, a lot of you guys already have a resume in place, and you guys have done a lot of improvements. But if you guys want more help, I can definitely try to do my best to get you guys ready for before the convention, just because sometimes I've been really busy, and I know a lot of you guys, it's 15 of you guys or 17 of you guys, so I'll do my best to um, give more comments for those who are already revised. But if you guys haven't got the chance, there is a resume template that I've sent out to a lot of you guys. I don't know if you guys can see it. um, can you guys see the resume template at all? Actually, no. Let me just. Oops, sorry. Um, there you go. So I'm gonna share with you guys the resume template. Some of you guys already have it. I highly recommend using this actual template. This I actually got from a fellow in SEO. Um, and this is kind of the format that most recruiters really look into, just because it's pretty well formatted, it's well organized, and it has everything in place. Um, so if you guys don't have that, I'll definitely send it out in a separate email, just because I really believe this is really important, and it also gives you a really good description as to how to go about describing some of the roles that you've had in your position. Because I know a lot of you guys also have a hard time with kind of thinking of different ways to describe what you've done. You guys sometimes don't want to be redundant, which makes sense. Because sometimes we do a lot of repetitive stuff, or sometimes our role does not sound that sexy. So I really think this template has helped me personally be able to really make my description sound more exciting. So yeah, so I'll send it out in a separate email, but this is a really good source. Excuse me, a really good template. Um, so that would be it for the resume. And let me just switch slides to the presentation. Okay. Let me just, oops.
Quick question.
Yes.
Uh, how many more or less, at least from your experience, about how many resumes did you bring with you a day? Just if you were to meet an employer, a professional, about how many did you bring for each day?
Okay. That's a good question. Honestly, I only gave my resume during the career fair.
Okay.
I almost did not hand any resumes out throughout the day. It's always good to have some. Always have five, because there will be a recruiter that you didn't even like. You'll meet a recruiter and they'll ask you for your resume, and you'll look silly if you don't have one, because they expect you to have one. So I didn't give any, because I didn't if I encountered a recruiter, I was already interviewing for them. But I would recommend having, in total I will have hmm, I will have 30.
Okay.
30 at max. And you guys could like print them out in school. But have five every day. So I know it's spread out in 4 days. So four, 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 and then on the career fair just have like 10 or have like 15. Just because obviously the career fair is it's where all the employers are all together. And I'm glad you actually brought that up because I didn't even have a slide for the career fair. Um, Let me just write that out before I forget because that is very important and there's some things that I kind of want to touch upon the career fair. Alrighty. So do I have it? So before I resume on the pre-convention, excuse me, before I move away from resumes, does anyone else have any questions on resumes or on anything that I already went over, just so that I don't go too fast for you guys? So just write out on message. I know I've already seen. I've read some of you guys. Whoops. I read some of your messages. So I know for those who join and are not on video, just ask your questions, um, and I'll just wait on you guys. I'll just wait another minute just in case. All right, so we don't have any more questions, so that's good. That means that I covered everything. So let's move away from that and go to interviewing. Actually, no, not interviewing. I thought my agenda was cover letter. All right, so I guess I don't have the cover letter portion. That's strange. I remember clearly having it. So, okay, so I don't have the cover letter one. Hmm. Alrighty, so I'll probably add on to it later. So I guess we'll go straight to networking. I don't have a slide for that just because it's kind of just self-explanatory. Um, just always so like I said, go by yourself. So when there's a dinner, I know for the gala, for instance, I know some of you guys won't be at the gala, but if, say you have there's a breakfast or there's a lunch gathering, always have always approach to anyone in the area just because everyone is actually very welcoming. No one will make you feel bad unless you come off a little too strong. I know that when I would have a conversation with someone and then someone would just butt in, just use your social cues. See when you're allowed to join a conversation. I don't know if you guys have any sort of social anxiety when it comes to networking, and if you do, um, you could talk to me on the side and we'll talk through that. But for the most part, I would like I said, I would recommend you guys going up to people. If you see someone just having coffee, you are more than welcome to go up to them and just chit chat with them. Just get a sense of what they do, what they work. This is a setting where you're allowed to talk about their professional backgrounds, just because they're interested in they're interested in sharing their experiences and they're there for you guys. Um, so do take the time to just chit chat with them and have a good time because this will be the only opportunity where people would want to talk about work. When it comes to the after hours, though, don't talk about work. Obviously, no one want. Everyone is there to just. And if you guys are not familiar with the after hours, after the day, after like the last workshop, there's some networking here and there in the hallways. But then there's gonna be like an after party. I haven't been on Facebook. I actually deleted my Facebook a while ago, but I heard that there's like alpha after hours setup where there's events set up in el- at venues like Copacabana or different rooftops. If you're going to those social gatherings, I would recommend just doing start with small talk, try to get to know the person on a personal level, and then you get to talk in a professional level, and they'll try to see if they can help you, if they want to help you, or if they're involved in recruiting. Yeah. But for the most part, when you're at the convention and you're in workshops, you're allowed to talk about professionals and their backgrounds and what they do. If you want to kind of learn about finance, or if you want to learn more about um, advisory, or if whatever they do, you're allowed. Like I said, not in the after hours. The after hours are more on a personal level, and then you'll probably eventually see them again. It's not surprising to not bump into people at more than once, just because um, everyone is there for all 4 days, and you will see some familiar faces as the day goes on. If you met someone on the first day and you ignore them, you see them on the third day and you kind of don't, and you kind of remember them, but you don't want to say hi, always say hi, always say hi. And I say this because people do remember, people will feel offended if you kind of like, oh, like you met me the first day and now you're pretending like I don't exist. Don't do that. If you're shy, don't be shy about it. Basically, what I'm trying to say, because that relationship could really go somewhere, and you don't want to lose in touch with anyone just because you think that they don't remember you or you forgot their names. And if you forget their names, that's okay. It doesn't hurt to go up to them and ask them like, oh, like, could you remind me of your name? Because more than it's like 98% positive sure that they forgot about your name as well. So don't feel bad. Um and yeah, so that's what I have for networking. So now we're gonna go to interviewing. For those, okay, so I don't know if you guys know this, but some people have been interviewed on the spot. And this does happen, and it's not unheard of. It could happen at a dinner table. It could happen at the after hours. It could be at a rooftop. It could be anywhere. It really it'll take you by surprise. But I'm letting you guys know just in case you encounter. Do always be on your guard. And just feel prepared. The way to obviously feel prepared is through your elevator pitch. I realized that I should have put that one first. So we're gonna go over your elevator pitch. I don't know if you guys have already have your 30-second pitch ready, and if you don't, definitely start on that. Um, just because it's a good introduction of who you are, what your goals are. It explains what you do and how that relates to the role that you're looking for. So say if you don't know what you want to do, that's okay. Just make whatever you're doing relevant to everything or anything. And by that I mean, chat. If you are obviously with me, I am the chair of professional development. I'm more interested in roles that are kind of like I'm more interested in like leadership roles. So I kind of emphasize on these roles on my elevator pitch, just because I kind of want to showcase to people who I am, what I've done, and what I expect to do in the future. So, on your elevator pitch, first thing first, obviously identify your goal. Start by thinking about the objective of your pitch. Obviously your objective is to get a job or to get an internship. So start out with that goal, or if you have something else that you want to start out with, a different type of goal, then that's fine. I know some of you guys are happy with where you are, or and if that's the case, just understand where is your mission, what is the purpose of your pitch, what are you trying to sell. Sometimes you don't want to sell yourself in a way that you're looking for a job, or you just kind of, your goal is to find a mentor. But obviously you're not going to blatantly say that, but do tailor your pitch for a reason, like a goal. um, Second, explain what you do. Ask yourself these type of questions as you start writing. What you want your audience to remember you. So with that, I mean, if you are someone who wants to emphasize, like me, on leadership, do emphasize on that with your roles that you are doing and what you've done. Communicate your unique selling proposition. So what makes you unique? What makes you different from all the other people, all the other candidates? Maybe you want to mention that you volunteer at a homeless shelter. So definitely include that in your pitch. Or maybe I know JP, you're involved with the dream team. There you go. That's very unique, and I believe you were the president last year. So definitely that's something to mention on your elevator pitch. And for anyone who has anything that you think that it's unique and makes you different from everyone else, do include that in your elevator pitch, because it does it does make you different from all the other candidates, and it really makes you. And people do, and people will remember you. So try to think of something that makes you different from everyone else, and you know that it'll be a selling point. And for instance, I say this because when I was in MLT at the seminar, there was one guy who gave his elevator pitch, and it was fantastic because he mentioned something about ballroom dancing. And although he was looking to do, I believe, consulting at the time, I actually still remember who he was. I remember his name, and I remember obviously what he's looking for, which was consulting. And it was because I think ballroom dancing for a guy was just unique and different. So you want that. You want that impression on anyone that meets you. So do ensure you have like a unique selling proposition on your elevator pitch. Um, so I know we have a few people who want to join. Um, Let me just make sure that everyone is welcome to come at any time. Okay, so I have a question from Natalia. Will the recruiter let you know when he will interview you? Um, okay, so there will be instances where you will be interviewed on the spot. Sometimes it's a recruiter, sometimes it's someone like a partner. I've seen partners for a big four accounting firm interview on the spot on a table, um, or a senior manager. You know that you're being interviewed by the type of questions they ask you. I never personally got interviewed in the past, but you know that you are being judged. In my personal opinion, I just feel like just go in there, um, on your best guard and be ready for it. Be ready for anything. Just have your elevator pitch ready. If you guys need help with that as well, I will be more than welcome to get on a call with you guys and see where how we can go about that, because in addition to resume and cover letters, I can help you with your pitch. I can help you with interviewing. I can help you with anything and everything that I could. Just because, like I said, I've been very involved with Alpha and also with interviews, and I mean I did campus recruiting for PwC last summer, so I do know exactly. I know as much as I can to help you guys. So if you need help with the pitch, definitely communicate that with me and we can get on a call. It will take a while. I mean, it's not that easy. A 30-second pitch does sound something like, oh, I could come up with it then anytime. In reality, it does take a lot of you want to craft it in a way that makes you unique and different. So it will take time, just like your resume. I honestly, when I wrote my resume out, I had many different versions, but the day that actually sat down and did the resume, it took a good 2 hours with a good friend of mine and another 2 hours um, on my own. So that was a total of 4 or 5 hours just on my resume before I sent it out to MLT last year. And it was um, it was incredibly surprising, just because I honestly thought that it was only going to take a good maybe 15-20 minutes. No, it takes a really long time. So with the elevator pitch, all these things, I'll be more than welcome to help you guys. It would just be during the nighttime, obviously, because we are all working. I know not only me, but I know all of you guys are in your internships or working on the side. So we could get on a call late at night. And I can definitely help you guys with that. And if you guys want me to do like a separate presentation on elevator pitches or on resumes or on cover letters, I can definitely do that. So this is kind of just like more on the convention, but if you guys really want a separate one, focus more in scope, I will be more than welcome to do that. Um, Alrighty. So, oh, and a good portion of the elevator pitch, do engage it with a question. You don't just want to say your elevator pitch and just like, oh, um, you say your elevator pitch and then the recruiter's like, oh, okay, well, great. What are you looking for? So like, engage it with a question. Or you can, one thing that I did when I was doing my elevator pitch, I would, say who I am. That will be the next slide. Hi, my name is Vanessa Torres. I am a student at Baruch College, major in accounting, blah, 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 blah. And then I will engage it with a question with something along well, I can't remember 2 years from now. But I remember asking something along the lines about, what is a PwC professional? Um, and I know you guys who the ones who were there at the pre-convention, a PwC professional is described in 5 dimensions, which is leadership. Let me see if actually it's not even online, but um, it's leadership, technical capabilities, business acumen, global acumen, and I forgot the fifth one. But basically, it was a question that I asked this question because I knew that not a lot of people knew what the PwC professional is. But I was kind of familiar with it, and I really wanted to learn more about what that meant. At the time, I didn't know what global acumen meant for PwC. I didn't know what business acumen meant for PwC. I know my understanding of it, but I wanted to get a perspective of the recruiter. So on my elevator pitch, I included to her um, I engaged her with a question, and she was able to respond, and she was pretty impressed as to how I went about it. And I already had the interview at the time, but if I didn't, she definitely would have given me the interview. Um, so that's what I have on the elevator pitch. Does any do any of you guys have any questions on anything that I've covered? Just so I wouldn't want to go too quick. So yeah. You guys, if for those who are not on video call, um, you are more than welcome to send a message through private, and we can go from there. So, okay. So I see that no one has questions. That's fine, because I hope that I'm being very clear with everything. All right. Next, we have interviewing. Um, so for those who get interviews, they're only 30 minutes at the Alpha convention. These are more usually those who interview you are senior man are usually senior people. It's never a first year hire. It's never a second year hire. It's usually a senior manager for those who are interested in big four accounting firms. It's usually a partner or a principal. Um, for the banks, from what I remember, it was also like a manager or senior manager. I don't know what are the hierarchy in banks, but it was never, like I said, a first year or second year hire. So which is great because they have more experience and there's more to talk about towards the end when you want to ask your questions. So the first 5 minutes is obviously this an introduction. The interviewer will give you an intro of them. Typically, usually they would. Um, but before that, actually, I forgot to mention. Always greet your interviewer. Offer a very firm handshake. I don't I have it's silly, but I don't know about I don't think I've really had any I've handshake I didn't sorry, I'm like stumbling upon my words. It's just like I don't think have a handshake I like damn it. um I don't think I shook any of you guys' hands, so I don't know how I can. And I would be very straightforward with that. Um, do offer a firm handshake. If you feel like you don't have one, do practice. And it sounds silly, but do practice in case because people do judge you on the way you do your handshake. It really says a lot about not your personality, but how you feel in that moment. You don't want to let them know that you're nervous or that you're shy or you're awkward. You want to give a really firm handshake to show your confidence. Do hide your confidence your as much as you can. I know that interviewing it is super nerve-wracking. Even to this day, I haven't interviewed in 2 years, but I actually for PwC, but I recently interviewed for a great firm, and I forgot how nerve-wracking interviewing can be. Or even networking, that could be nerve-wracking for those who are just not too familiar with that concept. But you always want to offer that firm handshake because people do judge you, and you don't want a bad brand at all. You want a brand that shows confidence, resilience, and someone that really knows themselves. So do practice on that if you think that you have a weak handshake. Um, like I said, I don't think I've experienced anything like that with you guys. But then again, I don't think I've ever shook your hands. But that's important. So keep that in mind. And always smile. Always show that you're confident, you're happy, you're energetic, you're positive. Never show negativity, obviously. Um, and always show interest. I know sometimes you will be presented an interview that you don't want. I remember when I did the convention 2 years ago when I really was interviewing for a lot. I actually had an interview for Walmart doing accounting and finance, and that was the last firm that I want. That was the last company that I was interested in. I did not have any interest in wanting to do Walmart. So, but I still presented a very positive mindset. I was always very energetic and smiling, and made sure I still did my research, and still was able to get the offer because I was, you know, in a good. I demonstrated interest. So always show interest in everything because, believe it or not, these recruiters do jump from firm to firm. Next thing you know, the recruiter from Walmart went to Boeing or something. For those who are not familiar with Boeing, it's an aerospace company. But and then maybe I'd be interested in going to Boeing in 2 years later. So always maintain a positive mindset because you want to be remembered as someone um, who is interested and is positive. Okay. So from there, does anyone else have any questions? Anything that doesn't make sense to you guys?
Just a quick comment on the handshake segment. I hate
Yes.
to beat a dead horse, but um, there's also I would say there's also a balance, just to put it out there, because I remember at I think it was Brand Yourself, I was told that having too firm of a handshake shows a sign of nervousness also. So I just kind of wanted to point that out and say, you know, you want to have a firm handshake, but you also don't want to have a death grip when you're shaking the hand of a professional either. Uh,
Yeah, that's a really good, really good point. I have had people, and I'll never forget one particular experience where um, I had a someone really shook my hand really hard. It wasn't even nervousness. It was just he was very aggressive. You do not want to be aggressive either. Do have a balance. Do have a balance. Because you do not want you definitely do not want to be known as someone who has a very aggressive handshake. Um, Calvin, is there any way you can mute your microphone?
Oh, so sorry.
No,
I didn't
no,
know if it was me.
no, no worries. I knew that there was a noise coming out of somewhere. I wasn't sure who it was, and then it told me it was you. So, thank you because
Oh,
I wouldn't want anyone to miss out on what I'm saying. So, um, okay.
wait.
So,
I don't. I wait. I thought yeah. I got.
oh, okay, good. Unless you guys have questions, you can always unmute yourself. I have no problem with that. Um, and does anyone else have any questions? Any comment as well? Or private message as well. That is fine. You don't have to be on video, obviously. Um, okay. So moving on. So most interviews are behavioral questions. They do ask you about your experiences. They want you should know your resume very well. Do not lie in your resume, um, because you would they would expect you to know everything. You have to walk through your resumes. That's the typical type of interviews at the convention. Once you get to Super Day, it might get a little bit more intense, but usually at the convention, it's kind of like a sense of your background, your credentials, and how your experiences relate to the role that you're applying to. By the way, I noticed that it's already 9:10. This should be done. This should have actually been done by 9:15. I'll try to go a little bit faster. I want to be done by 9:30 because obviously we have to go to sleep, and it shouldn't be longer than an hour. So Anyways, going back to interviewing. If you do get a technical question, be prepared for it. It shouldn't be anything too advanced. For accounting, I don't remember them asking that many technical questions, and if they did, it was something maybe just walk me through the three lines on the cash flow statement, or what is the connection between all three financial statements. Nothing too advanced, but if you don't know how to basic how to answer that question in a basic form, you could Google that. Um, but be prepared for it because it does happen. I don't know the type of finance questions for those finance guys or economics guys. I don't know what kind of questions they ask, but um, do a little bit of research and see like what kind of questions JP Morgan asked or what kind of questions Goldman asked, just so that you're not taken with any surprises. Um, so yeah. And obviously, towards the end, the last 5-10 minutes, it's your turn to shine. It's your turn to demonstrate how much research you've done. So ask 3 to 4 intelligent questions that demonstrates what type of research you've done on the firm. I know for PwC, I talked about Project Belize, and Project Belize is a volunteering opportunity that PwC releases during the summer. So about, I believe, 1,000 employees are sent out to the country Belize, which is in Central America, and for a week. So you everything is paid. You are flown out to Belize and you teach elementary school students on financial literacy, on how to create businesses, what is a business, etc., etc. Which is really cool because it's all expense paid. You go to a unique country and you are teaching people how to do business and how to manage the money on a country that's just not well developed. So I thought that was very interesting about PwC, and I wanted to learn more about that. And I did ask about it, and it demonstrated it demonstrated several things. My Obviously how interested I am on volunteering, on the research that I've done, and potentially wanted to participate as an intern. So always ask those 3 to 4 questions towards the end to illustrate how interested you are at the firm. Um, so don't forget. So for the next stop, so Leo, I know you asked that if these slides are available. They will be available to you guys as soon as I am done with this presentation. Hopefully the video is being recorded. I don't know how to record this, but from what I remember, it did record last time I was testing this. So if this entire presentation is recorded, I will send it out to you guys, but the slides are definitely will be available to you all in case you want to go over this during the convention. Oh, and so Natalia asked, can you give an example of the kind of questions? Oh, after the interview. So, like I said, I gave you my PwC, the one that I used for PwC, which was about Project Belize. Another type of question I would ask, well, um, not one doesn't really come. I mean, if you were at the pre-convention, I keep bringing up PwC because I'm only very familiar with PwC. Um, so one question I would ask PwC specifically, I know that on the news it was last year in September, PwC went Google, and what that means is that they are starting to use Gmails, Google Apps, all these exciting Google products, which PwC didn't have last year when I was interning in campus recruiting. We were actually using Lotus Notes. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Lotus Notes at your firm, at your wherever you guys are interning, but Lotus Notes is like the most old-fashioned email software out there. I think it's been going on it's pretty old, but it is very, very, very outdated. You have to refresh each time you get a new email. It doesn't tell you if you forget to attach the document. It's just very, very just outdated. So I wanted to know what the so if I was interviewing for PwC specifically, I would ask them more about how having Google in place now for PwC, how does that have changed for them? Um how is the transition for them? Is it a slow transition? Is it a fast transition? Is it more like an internal type of software? Are people only at PwC allowed to use Google? Because I know some companies, like for instance Wells Fargo, do not use Gmail. So if Wells Fargo is a client of PwC, how are you going to use Google? Or things like that. So I would ask. It demonstrates me reading the news, reading upon PwC, and obviously it would take an effect if I potentially get hired by PwC. I want to know how they're using Google. I want to know how to go about that. So familiarizing myself with their softwares demonstrates also how eager I am to work. So I guess that's one thing that I would bring up if I was obviously interviewing for PwC. But like I said, if you guys do your research on whatever firms that you're interviewing for, do bring something up that was recently in the news or something that really interests you, so that it demonstrates that you're not just asking a question, but you're asking something that you know that it's gonna take a role in when you start full time or when you start into your internship. So that was a good question, Natalia. So, um, before I move forward, does anyone else have any questions on some of the things I went over or any comments? I'll be more than happy to just go over anything. Alrighty. So, okay. So moving forward, dressing. I guess I don't have a slide for it because I wasn't, it's not, it's pretty self-explanatory. You could Google it. I don't know if you guys can see me. Oh, yes, you guys can see me Googling stuff. That's good. Um, Let me just go. Okay, so professional dressing, um, pretty self-explanatory for men. Let me just start out, obviously, for a man. I'm not too familiar with how it works, but you can always, you know, do your little Google search and get a sense of what kind of clothing to wear for interviews. Um, Obviously don't wear anything too flashy. You want to make sure that your everything, well, that looks actually, do tailor. So one thing I will make, a comment I will make, just do go out there and tailor whatever clothes you have. Um, well, this is for women. We want to do men first. Like I'm looking at this. Make sure your suit isn't too big. Because I know that recruiters do point this out. They don't want to see that your suit is eating you in whole. So make sure you tailor it before the convention. Please do not forget. Um, it doesn't show here, but your socks should always be black, or your socks should match your shoes. I'm not too sure about men. I'm so sorry. But those are the things that always stand out to me. Obviously, your tie shouldn't be purple or pink. It should be dark colors. And I believe black is the best color, or or navy blue. Do question someone like Ramfi. I think Ramfi could help you guys with that, with colors, or with socks, or with shoes, and ties, and ironing your undershirts. Um, just because I'm not too familiar with the concept of men and their dressing, but um, I think Ramfi could definitely help you guys with that. For girls, I heard that obviously wearing dresses, pencil skirts is best for interviews. Um, Always wear conservative colors. I wouldn't recommend gray at all. I would recommend black, honestly. From what I remember in MLT, for the most part, they really were strict on we so our for MLT we went to Goldman Sachs for our first seminar, and I guess Goldman really wanted everyone to wear black. So for the most part, everyone was wearing black for their suits, and I guess it's just kind of like it's just a like a color that everyone uses. It's much more conservative. It's just um, more structured. So definitely use dark colors. But if you have black, wear black. Especially in the career fair. I know for the like for what's it called? I know some of the questions that people asked for dressing was if a workshop says to wear business casual, do you actually wear business casual? Do you wear business professional? Always use business professional, because believe it or not, you're there for a job, and everyone else will be wearing the suits. Everyone is there, game on. So wear your suits, even if it says business casual, because you really want you're the student, you're the one looking for an interview, you're looking for a job for an internship. So wear what's it called? So do always wear your business suits. Any comment, any suggestions on oh, and one last thing always for ladies, if you I was told always bring your hair up. Something like this, like the women in the middle. It wouldn't if you have straight hair like this, that's fine. Make sure that if you have crazy hair or crazy colors, which I don't think anyone does have, um, do stick conservative. Um, so yeah. Any questions about dressing for women, for ladies, or for men? Well, for men, I really can't help you guys with that. But if you guys have any questions, unmute yourself or send a message to me. Or if you have any questions afterwards, definitely reach out to me. I wouldn't mind going over anything with you guys. Alrighty. So, alright. So I see I have no questions. I'm kind of trying to go faster, so bear with me. Next is obviously thank you notes. Thank you notes are obviously incredibly important. Um, you want to follow up with. Okay, so you want to follow up with people that you meet at the convention, in addition to the people that you interviewed with. So yes, it will take a long time. Um, yeah, I'm sorry. I just thought I lost you guys. Okay, it will take you guys a long time because you will meet a lot of people. Just take note on the people you want to stay in touch with. Um, just because um, you wouldn't want to lose a relationship. Um, Joe, is there any way you can mute yourself, please? Just because I see
My
that.
bad.
Yeah, no worries. Okay. Um, so thank you notes is important. Do follow. Okay, so in addition to thank you notes, obviously I should have done.
Joe, you muted Vanessa.
I know. I'm trying to I'm trying to fix that right now.
Hi
Uh,
guys, you guys can hear
there.
me now?
Yeah.
Okay, good. That was
My
funny.
bad.
It's okay. We're all learning ourselves. We're all learning to use Google Hangouts. I really think this is a great tool, so I'm glad you guys all joined. And that's okay. We're all learning to use these type of cool things. So, anyways, thank you. So what I was saying is that I wanted to use a separate. I should have done a separate slide on following up. I could just probably do that now before I forget. Follow up with everyone that you meet. It doesn't have to just be recruiters. Obviously, the people that you meet, you probably meet someone like, um, hold on. Follow up with people that you meet that you want to stay in touch with. It may be someone that could potentially be a speaker for a resume workshop for Alpha Baruch, or a cover letter workshop that we want to do, or a networking event that you want to invite them to. Um, so do follow up with everyone that you want to follow up to, people that stand out to you, because you will probably come across people that you don't want to that you don't want to stay in touch with, and that's okay. You don't have to, because I mean there will be people that you are not interested in chatting with, which is fine. Um, But for those who you do want to, just follow up. And the way to follow up is kind of just, dear, no, not dear, never say dear. Hi, Maria. It was a pleasure meeting you at the Alpha Convention. Uh, one thing that was noted actually at the pre-convention workshop was that if you meet someone, always ask for the business card. Obviously, I should have wrote that. Follow the people that you meet because you are collecting business cards. Um, a lot of most of the people are there. Most of the professionals, I should say, are there. Excuse me, I cannot write and type. Are there to network, so they all have business cards. So do always ask for them, and because you want to follow up with everyone that you want to meet or everyone that you want to talk to again. So the way to follow up, obviously, is hi, whoever. It was a pleasure meeting you at the Alpha Convention. At the Alpha Convention, what was mentioned also at the pre-convention workshop was that once you meet someone, in back of their business cards, see if you can write something that stood out to you with your conversation with them. Um, Let me just write that out for you guys. In the back of your on the card, something that stood out to you about that your conversation with them. Um, Let me just okay, because you will eventually forget every conversation you had. So this is a really nice reminder. I actually use this strategy um, to remember my conversations with everyone. So do pull up a business card. So yes, always have a pen with you. And maybe you guys spoke about being the first generation in your family. So you want to mention that in your follow-up email so that they can remember who you are. So, hi Maria, it was a pleasure meeting you at the Alpha Convention. Um, we talked about, we bonded. No, not bonded. Spoke about, being the first in our family, um, to go to college, and it was exciting to meet someone who has lived. It was exciting to meet someone that lived in the same shoes as me 3 years ago. Um, would you mind, and then follow, blah 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 blah. Make it whatever you want to make it. Obviously you're gonna tailor it to the person. Blah blah blah. And then obviously if you wanna if you want to follow through with this this friendship or excuse me, not friendship, relationship, professional relationship, um ask for coffee. Would you be available to grab coffee? uh to grab coffee, um in the next 2 weeks. Please let me know what days work for you, blah 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 blah. And that's how I would encourage you guys to follow up. um and then obviously best, your name. Um, so that is my take on following up to professionals that you meet at the convention. Um, but kind of just going back to, so let me just bring that slide up. Okay, so going back to thank you notes after your interviews. Um, Obviously, it's very important to follow up with everyone on a thank you note for those who interview you, just because even if they don't reply, they everyone likes to be thankful. Everyone likes appreciation for their time because people are there when they could have been at work. So always demonstrate how appreciative you are for them taking 30 minutes of their time to speak with you, to talk more about their role, to talk more about the firm, to talk about whatever it is. Um, it should be within 24 hours. So if you interview on Monday, which is the career fair day, and usually interviews are scheduled on that day or even Sunday, follow up by Wednesday, I would say. I would say 28 to 48 hours when it comes to the convention. Um, but in general, the general rule of thumb for not for anything that is not like a convention or a seminar, so say like super day will be 24 hours, that you should set your thank you note after the interview. um but because it's the convention and I would recommend 24 to 48 hours. Obviously, keep it short. Um, don't ramble too much. And I have here a template of what that thank you note should look like. So obviously, the content should have its introduction, like reminding them, um, you know, who you are, their position, talk about the position that they're in, blah blah blah. Like I said, you guys will have these slides over for you, so this will be a great source when you are writing your thank you note. And if you need help with that in the future, definitely reach out, and I could send you one of my thank you notes from the past. Or I could probably send that out too. I haven't really thought about that. All right. Any questions regarding thank you notes and or anything that I've gone over? You can unmute yourself, or you can privately message me. No, well, not privately message me, but just message me in general so that everyone just knows um, what is going on. So, alrighty. Moving forward, hopefully we finish this. Okay, so I'll try to do this in 5 minutes. So, strategies for the convention, very important. I'm not going to talk about more about my experience because I already gave you guys my experience in the beginning. But if in the career. Okay, so we have two more other slides and then we're done. So strategies for the convention, research the companies obviously, but something that I want you guys to keep in mind is the companies that are going to be there. So the way, if you guys don't know how to do this, I will do this really quick. The companies that are there are usually the ones that are being sponsored, that are sponsoring Alpha. So if you look up Alpha sponsor, oops, there we go. Alpha conventions, maybe I should have done. You go to the conventions page. Obviously, BNY Mellon's going to be there. And if you want to interview for them, obviously that would be easy for you guys to find. Um, let me see if I can. I know that usually hold on. Uh, com- Alpha sponsors convention. I don't remember what I would research. Just so that you guys know the companies that are gonna be there. Let's see. Get a career. No, 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 no. Alrighty. So I guess I can find it. So when I find that for you guys, I'll send out. I'll include it in the slide. I'm surprised it's not on the first page. Usually it tells you like, the partners that are going to be there so that you know who's there. Like you wouldn't want to be researching Google when they're not there. Right? It wouldn't make sense. You wouldn't want to make that um you wouldn't want to make that what's it called? That mistake. So, all right. So it's strange that I couldn't find it, but usually, obviously, the big four accounting firms are going to be there. The big banks are going to be there. Whoops. The big banks are going to be there. So it just doesn't make sense to search for companies that are not there. So do your research on the company, on have like your top 10 companies. So if you're in accounting, obviously you're going to have Deloitte, you're going to have PwC, you're going to have um, what's it called? EY, I forgot all the big four already. KPMG. Then you'll have, if you want the bulge brackets, you would want Goldman, you would want Bank of America, you would want, or if you don't want banks, you can do P&G. Doing accounting for them. And I say this because you want to go in there and at the career fair, you want to know you want to know where you're going to head to. So, for those, okay, so career fair. That's part of the strategies for the convention, the career fair. So the career fair starts it's from 8 to 4. Correct me if I'm wrong. Does anyone know, am I wrong on the career fair? Um, Let me see. Career fair day pass only. Um, okay, doesn't tell you. But I'm pretty sure it's from 8 to 4 or 8 to 5. Um, so I would be there at 7:30. And that's because no one wakes up early enough to go to the career fair. That career fair is going to be jam packed from 11 a.m. to 3, 4 p.m. You do not want to be one of those people. I would encourage you to be there 7:30 in the morning. If it starts at 8, 7:30 in the morning, because that would be the place to network, talk to the recruiters, hands on, and everyone is fresh. Everyone is just ready to meet you guys. So, I would, if anything, I wouldn't go with this. I would say 8. So this is the time you should be at the career fair from well 7. If it starts at 8 to 10 a.m., you will be there at 7:30. Just because, like I said, everyone is not everyone is excited to meet you. Everyone is excited. No one is overwhelmed. No one is. Usually people are tired, but at 12 o'clock they are dread, dreadfully tired. So be there early as you can, and if Deloitte is on the top of your list, the first booth you're gonna go to is Deloitte. Then after you're done talking to, so at Deloitte, what's your goal for Deloitte? Um, if I was if I was going through before recruiting, my goal will be talk to. Usually there's never like one recruiter. There's always four recruiters there. My goal will probably at least will be to meet two recruiters from Deloitte and three professionals. Or you could be more specific. You want to meet two recruiters, two new hires, and one partner from Deloitte. That would be a great goal. That would be a good strategy that would be a great goal to have. And meet them within the first 15 minutes, right? Um, that would be that's something that I actually did. Um, well, not that specific. I think it was much less than that, but that's one of the things that I would encourage you to do. Just go to those companies and see if you can meet two recruiters, two new hires, one new partner, or two new hires and one like senior manager. Whatever it is that you want, just have a strategy, have a goal as to how many companies you want to meet, who you want to talk to, who you want to talk to first, and how many people you expect to meet at that booth. Um, so that would go with all the other firms. So pick your top, and I wrote pick your top 10 companies because um you will get tired after talking to so many people. Um, and I would think that you might. I mean, I think that's something that I did, and that's something that I would encourage you to do. Okay, not that small. Um, oops. Any questions on what I just said? You guys can unmute yourself or whatever. Obviously, you want to collect business cards for all the companies, and follow up with everyone. There is a chance that at the career fair that there is a chance. Obviously, the recruiters are there that you will get. And if not, I wouldn't say interviewed completely because everyone is kind of trying to do everything quickly, but they will do like a screen, like a phone screen. Be ready for it. Um, with your elevator pitch. Also, something that I wanted to mention is if you can schedule your interviews after 10 a.m., that would be better just because unless you have all your interviews ready for the companies that you want to interview for. But if you don't, try to do your interviews at like 10 a.m. and after just so that you have those 2 hours of your time to go to the career fair and do some recruiting for other companies that you're interested in. Obviously, know the role. If you want to do Deloitte audit, do Deloitte audit, but pretend you know what you want. Even if you think it's between audit and tax, just go in there and say audit, right? Um, and same goes with all the other firms. And I think that's about it that I have for strategies for the convention. Um, yeah, from what I remember. Oh, always have your phone obviously 100% charged because there is a chance that out of nowhere a recruiter will will reach out to you through email, through phone calls. Have a voicemail set up. Let me write this out before you guys forget. Personally, um, personalize your voicemail. Because if your voicemail is standard, with the stand there like, oh, like you reached 347-809-0146. They're not gonna know if they're reaching out the right person. So, if you guys need help with that, I maybe should. This is kind of embarrassing, but maybe I should. If you guys want to call me one day and hear my voicemail, feel free to do it. I did personalize my greeting. I customized it. I would encourage you to customize it just because if you don't customize it, then they're not gonna know who you are. They're not gonna know who they're reaching out to. So um, have your so but that's so have your phone 100% charged and go and customize your voicemail. And if you don't know how to customize your voicemail, I guess I'll just play mine right now so that you guys know where to go from this. Let me just record it. Not record it, but play it. Hi, this is Vanessa Torres. I cannot reach my phone right now. If you'd like to leave your message, your name, and your phone number, and I will make sure to return your call very soon. So make it short. So introduce yourself. Let them know that you cannot reach your phone, and to leave their phone number. And that you'll reach out to them very soon. So do customize it because that's one thing that was told to me in MLT. And I noticed that recruiters are more bound to leave a voicemail with that. Alrighty. So with that said, um,
Hey,
yeah. So,
Vanessa.
oh yes,
Yeah. Quick question. How
yes.
often do recruiters actually leave leave voicemails? Cause I was just worried about. Cause I honestly don't. I haven't checked my voicemail since I've gotten my phone.
Um, Good question. So make sure. Well, that's the reason why I brought this up. Make sure your voicemail is set up. You wouldn't want your voice because I know sometimes your voicemail because you have a lot of space, like you have no space at all for it, um, or what's it called? Your it's not set up, and they can't leave a voicemail.
Hmm.
You wouldn't want that to happen because then a recruiter is gonna be like, okay, well, there's no way of reaching out to him. I'm not gonna make the effort when I had 30 other kids to interview. So make sure you do that before the convention. That's for
Hmm.
everyone. Customize it.
Hmm.
How often do recruiters do it? Do recruiters call you? I know that Janet at the pre-convention mentioned that she was called and in the middle of the convention. So it does happen. I don't know how often they do it, but expect at least one or two
Yeah,
um
because
during.
the few times I was called, if I miss one, they usually sent me like a follow up email. But like, cause I get a lot of calls like sometimes, and like if it's from an unknown number, a lot of times I don't pick up. It's just when I was interviewing, I remember I had to pick up every single call because I didn't know if they left, if like I missed the call, I would be done. So
Yeah. Yeah, there will be a chance that obviously they will follow up, but because it's the convention, they
yeah,
have 50
high
other
traffic.
candidates. So that's why it's imperative to have that voicemail set up
All right.
um for the convention. So I'm glad I cleared that up for you guys. Um so yeah, so anything else that so since I pretty much concluded everything. I went over everything except for cover letters, which I'll probably go in after later on anyways. Um so that is the presentation. That is kind of like the my pre-convention yeah, pre-convention presentation. I hope you guys enjoy this. I hope you guys found this useful. If you guys need any help with anything else, obviously reach out to me. If you guys don't have my number, I'll blast. I'm pretty sure I blasted it in the email that I sent you guys. My number at the very bottom. Um, but if
I
anything,
think it's in the Google Doc,
yeah.
like the with the board numbers.
Okay, great. So if yeah, so it's in the Google Doc. So if you guys ever want to reach out to me, feel free to do so. But yeah, so just want to wrap things up because it's already 9:45. If you guys, like I said, if anyone else has any more questions, I would prefer it at this point to do it offline, just because it's already getting late um
Hello.
and it's just time to go home. So I mean, not go home, but go to sleep. So um, like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed the presentation and expect the slides in about 5 minutes. And if there's a recording of this, I will also blast that as well. So thank you guys for joining. And I hope you enjoy the presentation.
Yeah, it was great. Thanks a
Thanks.
lot.
Yeah, no problem.